The night it happened, most people would have walked past him without a second glance. The janitor pushing a squeaky cart through the marble lobby looked invisible, head down, shoulders tired, work gloves frayed at the fingertips. But before this story ends, that same man will leave a billionaire CEO speechless, a room full of powerful people in tears, and thousands of hearts changed forever. So stay with me till the end, and if stories about hidden strength, second chances, and real heroes move you, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this one will stay with you long after it's over. Ethan Cole was 36, a single father, and the kind of man life seemed determined to test again and again. Every morning before sunrise, he packed his 6-year-old daughter Lily's lunch, braided her hair the best he could, and walked her to the neighbor's apartment where an elderly woman watched her before school. Only then did he take the bus downtown to the Sterling Tower, one of the tallest buildings in the city, where billionaires signed deals on the top floors and Ethan cleaned their messes at night. He didn't complain. He couldn't afford to. His wife had died 3 years earlier from a sudden illness, leaving him with grief, medical debt, and a child who still asked why mommy never came back. The janitor job barely covered rent and food, but it was stable. And stability, Ethan believed, was the last gift he could give his daughter. Most nights, he worked quietly, polishing floors that reflected crystal chandeliers, emptying trash from offices that smelled of expensive cologne and power. People rarely looked at him. When they did, it was with impatience or mild annoyance, like he was part of the furniture. One evening, a high-profile charity gala filled the building. The lobby buzzed with laughter, camera flashes, and luxury. Ethan had been instructed to stay out of sight and clean after the event. As he mopped near the elevators, voices echoed behind him. "Careful, don't slip," a sharp female voice said, dripping with sarcasm. "Wouldn't want a janitor lawsuit ruining my night." The laughter that followed stung more than Ethan expected. He turned slowly. Standing there was Victoria Sterling, the billionaire CEO of Sterling Global, heir to an empire and known in business circles for her ruthless efficiency. She was stunning, powerful, and surrounded by executives who laughed a second too loudly at her jokes. Ethan nodded politely. "I'll be out of the way, ma'am." Victoria looked him up and down, eyes lingering on his worn boots. "Good. Some of us have real work to do." The group moved on, leaving Ethan alone with the echo of their laughter. His hands tightened around the mop handle. He swallowed the familiar mix of anger and humiliation and returned to work. He had learned long ago that pride didn't pay rent. Later that night, as guests filled the ballroom upstairs, Ethan cleaned a side hallway. His sleeve slipped up as he reached for a trash bag, revealing a faded tattoo on his forearm, an insignia most people wouldn't recognize, but those who knew never forgot. The tattoo told a story Ethan never shared, a life he had buried. Upstairs, the gala was in full swing. Speeches were made, donations pledged. Victoria Sterling took the stage, confident and commanding, speaking about leadership, strength, and resilience. Applause thundered through the room. Then, without warning, a loud bang echoed from below. The building lights flickered once, twice, and then went out completely. Screams filled the ballroom. Panic spread as emergency lights failed to turn on. Phones lit up the darkness, and people began shouting over one another. Victoria's voice cut through. "Everyone stay calm." But chaos doesn't listen to commands. Smoke began seeping through the vents. Somewhere below, a transformer had exploded. Fire alarms wailed. Security scrambled, but communication systems were down. In the darkness of a lower stairwell, Ethan smelled the smoke first. His body reacted before his mind did. Years of training, long suppressed, surged back like a switch being flipped. He dropped his cart and ran toward the stairwell. Inside, people were trapped, guests coughing, crying, disoriented. A woman had fallen, twisting her ankle. Others froze in fear. "Listen to me," Ethan shouted, his voice suddenly calm, powerful. "Stay low. Follow my voice." Someone hesitated. "Who are you?" "I'll get you out," he said simply. He tore strips from his uniform to cover mouths, guided people down the stairs, counted heads, reassured the panicked. Smoke thickened, but Ethan moved with precision, shielding others, lifting the injured as if adrenaline erased his exhaustion. At one point, a burning beam collapsed, blocking a stairwell. People screamed. Ethan didn't. He assessed, redirected, and led them another way, toward a maintenance exit few even knew existed. On the final trip back up, he heard a familiar voice coughing weakly. Victoria Sterling. She had been separated from her security team, trapped in a private corridor filling with smoke. When she saw Ethan emerge from the darkness, her eyes widened. "You," she rasped. "The janitor. Stay with me," he said, cutting her off. He wrapped an arm around her, ignoring the heat, guiding her step by step. As they moved, her heel broke. She stumbled. "I can't," she gasped. Ethan didn't hesitate. He lifted her onto his back, carrying her through smoke and fire like she weighed nothing. Outside, firefighters rushed forward. Paramedics took Victoria away. Ethan staggered, finally letting exhaustion claim him as he collapsed onto the pavement. When he woke up, the sun was rising. His arm throbbed, and a medic was wrapping a burn on his forearm. His sleeve was pushed up, the tattoo fully visible. A man in a fire chief's uniform stared at it, eyes wide. "That insignia, were you special forces?" Ethan hesitated, then nodded. "A long time ago." Victoria Sterling, wrapped in a blanket nearby, overheard. She walked over slowly, disbelief on her face. "You saved everyone," she said quietly. "You saved me." Ethan met her gaze, no anger in his eyes, only calm. "It's what I was trained to do."